Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Tech Talk session with me. Today, we are about to dive into an exciting discussion that will change the game for your career. I am Triptisena, your host from Tech Jobs Fair, and today we are joined by Miss Sarah Anto. Sarah is a dedicated mentor and strategist, empowers women tech founders with her expertise in strategic growth and finance. She shapes compelling visions, unlocks funding opportunities, and builds strong terms, drawing her own challenges in the tech and finance sectors to strive for gender equality in the industry. So, hi, Sarah. Welcome to our session. And how are you doing today?
Hi, Tripti. I'm doing great and I'm so excited for today's session. Thank you for having me.
We are thrilled to have you, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. And everyone, today's session is all about understanding how a career in tech can prepare you to be a successful entrepreneur. But before we dive into the matter, let's take a moment to uncover your journey, Sarah. Could you please share your inspiring journey in the industry so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and raised in France. I started my career in Europe. I worked as an auditor and CPA for a big international accounting firm. Initially, I had clients in a lot of different industries, and then I got the opportunity to move to San Francisco, continue my
Mm-hmm.
work as an auditor and CPA, and really focus on serving tech clients. So a lot of my clients were startups on their way to IPO or tech giants. So that's really where how I got my foot into the tech industry. Being in the heart of Silicon Valley, that was really interesting. I learned so much, so a lot of different things happening. So it really piqued my interest. But with being an accountant consultant, I kind of really wanted to work within a startup. So I ended up getting my MBA in San Francisco and decided to join a tech AI startup based there. And I became a chief of staff, so was the right hand of the CEO and really saw what it took to build a company at the very early stage, the challenges that you have and what it takes to take it to the next stage and make it successful. So really got deep into the tech AI at that point, and it also started to really pique my interest of entrepreneurship at the same time. And I started mentoring on the side through some incubators and accelerators like Techstars and Y Combinator. I mentored early stage founders that were trying to build their company. And I saw that there were women there, but they were really struggling. And it was definitely harder for women in tech to be visible, to be able to raise funds. So that's how it started to really come up as an idea for my business to help those women. So I ended up quitting the corporate tech world and launching my own company in helping women in tech to turn their idea into a viable tech business and help them get ready for fundraising. So that's what I do now.
That's really amazing, and I believe you had quite a journey, and it's nice to see how you're supporting and providing guidance to women to maybe be more seen in the tech industry. So that's really really amazing. So, can you share how your experience in the industry provided a foundation to your entrepreneurial journey? And what were the key maybe insights that in the tech that have been most beneficial for you in running your own organization?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I learned so much from being in the tech industry, and there are many things that skills I gained there that I'm using now and will continue to use. And I'll say that one of the main one is unpredictability. So every day new things come up when you are in tech and when you are in the startup world even more, and you need to find solution. You need to like be very creative in solving problem in a fast way, and you need to
Yeah.
adapt very quickly to new situations. And that's definitely something to transfer as an entrepreneur because you have a lot of fires to deal with every day, and
Mhm.
especially beginning, you're mostly alone dealing with everything, so that's definitely a key skills. Another one would be strategic thinking. So when you want to think of like launching new products, developing new features, or entering new markets, that's definitely something in tech that evolves very quickly. You always have to think about those new ways to enter those new markets or new products. So again, very transferable to being an entrepreneur as well. The constant innovation in tech, for me, it's really made me very creative and like always trying to think about new ways of doing things, of creating new things. So love the innovation content. That's definitely something that you can take from tech to entrepreneurship as well. um, Also learning to anticipate trends and react quickly. Like anyone in tech can tell you, especially now with everything that's going on with AI, generative AI, trends come up very quickly, change very quickly, and you need to be able to react and adjust accordingly. So again, like really being able to adjust to new trends is a very good skills to have. Things I've also learned a lot with my CPA background and in tech is key financial metrics that are very important as an entrepreneur and are really relevant in the tech industry as well.
Great. So it's like, we're always on the edge, always on the tip of our toe. Something's gonna change, and we just have to adapt it so quickly in the tech industry, and it's growing, rapidly and massively now. So yeah, that's really, really insightful. Now because most of the people think, when it comes to tech industry, it's more about being a software engineer or developer, but I think a very few people would actually get into starting their own company or become an entrepreneur, right? Because once you start a journey in tech industry, they think like, yeah, we're gonna be on the computers, doing or building stuffs, and probably just doing stuffs for somebody else, right? And not having a time to think about starting something of their own. So I think this session is for those people who are looking forward to have their own uh, company, or looking forward to build something on their own. So I would really like to understand, and also for our viewers, like how how working in tech influenced you to approach, or and craft a vision of having your own company. Like if you could give like small example, like what was the vision that influenced you to start your own organization?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the point that you brought, and I had the chance to meet many tech people that are like with engineering background that ended up launching their own company because we're a little bit tired of being behind a computer the whole day, like you said, and really wanted to build things. They were
Yeah.
also able to, I would say, you can really build things when you're part of a startup as well, even if you're not an entrepreneur. I think that's really important. Like they tended to get more frustrated when they joined a larger corporation, so there are different ways to explore if it's not entrepreneurship. But yeah, for me, it was just seeing so many different, I was surrounded by people very driven and that had started so many different companies, had visions, and just like wanted to put it out there and try it out. So with the tech industry being so innovative and new things coming up all the time, it really drives your interest towards entrepreneurship, and I've definitely noticed that. And with being in tech, and especially in the chief of staff role, I really saw a lot of positive things, but also the wrong way of sometimes doing things, of like tech companies trying to move too quickly and not really setting up realistic strategic roadmap and not hitting their milestone and kind of
Yeah.
disappointing the market or the investors. So I also saw the good example of some CEOs building really strong companies with like being realistic of like how long it takes to build things, what do you need to hit in order to make it successful. So it really gave me this kind of like strategic mindset on how you can build something sustainable and successful based on my experience in tech.
Great. So, like, when it comes to having your own company, it's all about being a leader. And because you will be having people under you, and then, having a team, and being the leader of the team, of course, it's a most important factor. So, and tech, of course, has a fast track leadership skills, right? So how has this experience shaped your maybe leadership style and something, maybe team building strategies as an entrepreneur? How has it helped you shaping those skills?
Yeah, I think it's very important that the tech industry moves very fast, and that's definitely a challenge when it comes to you leading people and doing it the right way. And the entrepreneurs I've seen that are successful and inspire me are the ones that were able to build very solid foundations in terms of company's culture and the team, and really creating like a transparent communication environment where they make it clear to everyone what's the direction where everyone is going, how they're all going to work together to make it happen, and really have clarity among the organization of like why are people working hard to build XYZ and which direction are they taking all together. So I think this is really important to build those type of leadership skills, to be able to clearly communicate your vision, your strategy to your team, and get everyone aligned and working towards the same direction. I think another thing that I've really enjoyed and embraced in tech is you have a lot of different perspectives. Like, especially when I was in San Francisco, you have people that come from all over the world that have a lot of different backgrounds that are some are very technical, some less non-technical, but it brings you a lot of perspective that help you build something very unique and
Yeah.
successful. And everyone is also very willing to keep on learning new things, and that's like a key things as a leader to like keep on getting curious, open to feedback, other opinions, and keep learning.
Yeah, definitely. I do have few more questions lined up for you, but before that, I really want to understand, what clicked in you when you thought of, uh, let's start my own company. How did you come? How did that thought come in your head, and then how did you start the plan of it? Like, I mean, execution is a secondary step, but you always have to have an idea, like what you want to start and how you're gonna do it. So yeah, how did that thought come in your head?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it started when I did my MBA. There were so many entrepreneur people, so it really inspired me. I was like, "Whoa, so many people are able to do it." I didn't have anyone around me that were entrepreneurs, like not it's not in my family background or anything, but being surrounded by people who had done their company started to inspire me. I wanted to gain more experience working within a startup, so I decided to become a chief of staff. But in that role, I really started to be like, I think at some point I want my own company. So I'm going to start as a side hustle, exploring things. So that's how I started mentoring with accelerators and like kind of advise, coach very early stage founders, and kind of see, identified what were their key problems, what were the main challenges they had, how I could help them with my background and what I was interested in doing. So I really spent time to explore and test what I could potentially do. And that really helped me. And I've met a lot of entrepreneurs that do that. Like the testing phase is so important, and you can still do it while you're working your full-time job. You don't have to
Eh,
immediately take the leap into going full-time into entrepreneur, because this can be really scary and you need to build
yeah.
some confidence around it. So it needs to be the right
Exactly.
time on your own terms, right? So that's what helped me. And when I felt like I had a strong foundation of like, I've identified a clear problem, I know who I want to help and how I can help them, then I took the leap of like, okay, I'm going to go full time with my own company now.
Great, because it's very important to have that vision and understanding of what you're trying to achieve with your own organization, right? But I've seen a lot of people, like you said, like it can be a side hustle for some years and for some time before you take the leap, right? but I have seen few people who, just drop their job and start their own organization, and then they fail. And it takes a lot of investment in, like, not just financially, but also it takes your time, your energy, right? So, and then they just go, like, they go in a phase where they're not doing anything. They feel that they are not capable of doing anything because, they don't take that time out to plan and execute and understand their vision of the company. They just go like, oh no, I want to start my company. So I understand the financial aspect is very, very important when you're starting your own organization, because you do need investments, right, to start your company. So how has the career in tech helped you in understanding the financial skills and maybe managing and scaling your business? Because for both tech professionals and entrepreneurs, finance is very, very crucial.
Yeah, it is. And we've seen it, especially in the last couple of years in tech, where fundraising money has been much more difficult.
Hmm.
And so a lot of startups had to rethink of like their strategy around how much money they needed to use in order to build fast. So it's
Yeah.
very important to understand your financials.
Hmm.
And in tech you can see, like, especially tech solutions that are need a lot of cash in order to launch something, you need to make sure you've understood how much money you're going to need and how you're going to get that money. So that's what I learned a lot in tech. It's like you need to really understand that ahead of starting to build something. And so then when you flip into the entrepreneurship, it's really being able to put together a budget when you are starting to build your company, of like, how much is it going to cost to launch that? How much is this first year going to cost me? Am I going to use my savings? Am I going to ask friends and family to help? Do I need
Yeah.
to go the fundraising road at some point? There are a lot of different ways to raise money if you need to, but the first step is always, how much money do I need? And I
Exactly.
feel like, yeah, some entrepreneurs kind of skip that step, and it's really hard later on when they realize that they need much more money than they thought. So this is critical from a financial perspective. And then as your company grow, I think it's really important to also keep tracking, how much money are you spending, how much money are you generating, and making sure it's sustainable, right? If you're burning too much money every month and not enough money is coming in, either the business is not going to work out or you're going to have to fundraise again, and you need to
Yeah.
understand the timing of that. So that's where, like, I know a lot of people, like, I don't want to hear about finance, I'm not interested by it, but that's where it becomes a critical skill to have, or have someone in your team that can support and advise you around that.
Right. So now let's talk about having someone in the team, right? So when you start a company, like, how do you plan on, having the team, like, hiring people for your organization? Who are the, core people that you need in order to run a business? Because randomly just hiring for all positions will not make sense if you're, just starting, right? So what are the key roles that, you need in your organization, like a support, like a back support, in order to run it smoothly, and also keeping your finances in your head, like, you have to balance everything out.
Yeah, that's so important. And a lot of founders I work with, we really work through that mindset, because it depends on what you're building. And when you build in tech, a lot of the questions that some founders are not engineers and don't have a technical background, for example.
Yeah.
So one of the first people they need in their team is someone to help from the tech side. And that person sometimes can be a co-founder if that's what they need and want to, but you really need to think through finding the right match for yourself if you want a co-founder to support you. It can be contractors that will help you build a tech solution. It can be your first employee as well. If you're ready to hire someone full time and the costs that come with it, that will be your tech person that helps you build. So there are a lot of different things, a lot of different strategy that you can approach depending on what you're trying to build. On the other hand, you also have founders that are very technical, that have like engineering background, and they're more looking for someone to support them from a business side. So then
Yeah.
again, it's like, how are you going to get this support? Is it through co-founders, a contractor, or a first employee? And also, what helped very early founders is to get advisors to support them. And by that, what I mean is really finding people in your network, in your field, that are going to help you in building the company, in advising you with the skills that you don't really necessarily have and where you need support. So it can be someone who's been 3 times founder and had a couple of successful exits, for example. It can be someone that is knowledgeable about fundraising and can help you towards that, or someone very technical in your field that is well known can help you develop the solution. And those people will support you. They will usually take some equity probably out of your company, but you wouldn't necessarily have to pay them at the beginning. So that can be a great way to support you without having to really get cash out of the company, and really get like a support. And I think once you've gone a bit further into like having traction, starting to see money coming in, and you need to start building a team, what's really important is to understand, where do you need help and what are you good at, what do you want to do, and where do you need people to kind of take over. So it depends on your like own skills as a founder. Some people want someone to help them from the sales side, some from marketing, finance, or it can be like the tech side per se. So
Great. Also, now as the world's changing and everything's becoming remote, right? Even the works,
yeah.
like people have started working from home and working remotely. So, does it affect founders when they are, planning to start a business? Like, does the location really matter, or can they just, have a mindset and start a business on a remote basis and then later hire people remotely? Or is it important to start a business like on site to understand uh, because I believe when you're thinking of certain idea, even the location plays a huge role, right? You cannot build a tech industry if the locality is not very tech friendly, right? Because you need to be in that area where people are more familiar with tech. Going there and starting just one organization and trying to help might be a success or might not be a success. So what do you think about this remote thing that has come up now? How does it affect founders in order to build a company?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of different strategies around that. And again, I think it's really up to the founder to decide what's best for them and for the company. If you building a physical product, it's very hard to do it fully remote. And having some people collaborating together is important. If your solution is 100% a service or a software, everything is online, then I've seen successful company doing everything remote. I would say as a founder, a lot of them decide to move to a tech hub because it's going to just bring you so many networking opportunity. Like
Yeah.
you can easily meet potential investor, potential partners. So I think that side is very important, more than having all of your employees in one place. I think it's you as a founder being in a tech hub can bring you a lot of opportunity and a lot of access to talents and to an entire network.
Yeah, because even as an employee, if people are looking for a job, every country has that tech hub, right? And they just, if they think of tech, they think of that particular location. Hey, yeah, I might get a job here, and they just move there, right? Looking for like,
Yeah.
initially it used to be like walk-in interviews and all that, and going to organization and asking whether they're hiring at the reception and at the office and everything. But now, yeah, with all this LinkedIn and so many other, social media platforms which works professionally, people are able to do things online and staying at their homes. So yeah, I believe location, it does play a huge role when you're starting your own organization, depending on what kind of organization it is, of course. Right.
Absolutely.
So let's have like a final question for you. So you mentioned it in the very beginning that tech it has a rapid change of innovations, and there's always something or the other changing. you know and so how has this prepared you to take maybe tackle challenges, being an entrepreneur, especially in developing and launching new services?
Yeah, absolutely. I think again, it's adjusting to situations very quickly, and you need to be able to reprioritize things all the time and as they come, and have innovative solutions, and everything happens very quickly. Another thing is making data-driven solution can be a really powerful tool with having a background in tech and becoming an entrepreneur. So making sure the decision you may make are backed by data and it's just not something you think is a great idea. So I really like to emphasize the data driven piece of that. Another thing, again, moving quickly, is the importance of being responsive to market feedback and trends, like we talk about. So when things change, you need to being able to respond very quickly to it, develop a new solution if you need to, or a new product to adjust to like customer needs. So I think those are the key things.
And how active do you have to be on networking sites when you become a a company owner or a founder?
I would say even before becoming a company owner, I think networking is so powerful, and especially since we've moved into more of a remote setup for a lot of us,
Yeah,
it's incredible how easy it is to reach out to someone through LinkedIn or any
yeah,
community, and people are willing to jump on to have a virtual coffee chat, and you can learn so much from them. Either it's a successful entrepreneur, it's someone in tech that you admire. Like, I would say, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. You have nothing to lose. The worst case, they just don't answer you. But best case
yeah.
scenarios, you have a very interesting call, and it could turn maybe even into a mentorship at some point, and someone that you can really learn from. So I would say to always network. It's a very powerful thing.
Amazing. I believe this session, of course, has been very, very insightful. But yeah, we do have few time constraints, because of which we have to bring this session to an end. But it doesn't say that we will never come back in future with another inspirational session by you. And of course, thank you so much for your valuable time and your active participation. Before we end the session and wrap up this, today's tech talk, do you have anything to say out loud to our, techies who are looking forward, or maybe fearing a little bit to start their own organization? Please, like anything you would like to say to them from your side.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say just try it out, test it out, and you will find the right time to really take the leap if it feels like the right thing to become an entrepreneur. But try it out. You have nothing, you don't have to quit your full-time job. Just try it out. And it was great talking to you, Tripti, today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And yes, guys, like she mentioned, please don't leave your full-time job until and unless you haven't tested your organization and you're confident and sure about taking that leap, of becoming a founder. And if you are looking forward to, new job roles, we have Tech Jobs Fair happening everywhere, almost in Europe and other countries, both physical and virtual events. And if you are a job seeker, please log on to our website techjobsfair.com and register yourself now for free. So I think, yes, thank you everyone for being with us today, and thank you, Sarah, for your time. I wish you all the best for your organization, of course, and I look forward to more sessions in the future with you. Thank you so much, everyone. Until next time, bye bye.